Well, if you landed here, you landed on Let's Talk News, and I am your host, Leticia Romero. Finally, not running around like a lunatic, hopefully, getting out to all of you who follow the show and who like to chat about conservative politics or just politics in general. You don't have to be conservative. As a matter of fact, I appreciate those of you who aren't, who actually have conversations with us and bring up really good points and bring a counterbalance to what's going on in the world of news and politics. And there's a lot going on in the world of news and politics. And it seems that these days, the headlines are filled with the Minnesota shooting of Renee Good. And there is actually, it's not just about the shooting of Renee Good. I got that wrong. It's about ICE. See, that's what the press is interested in, and that's what the instigators are interested in. The fact that ICE is out in the street deporting the criminal illegal aliens that Biden let into the country. People who are nefarious and want bad things for America don't like that. So they're using, like they did George Floyd, they're using Renee Good's death to promote their agenda. And you could see it if you watch the press conference today with, the Minnesota State Attorney General and Jacob Fry, the mayor of Minneapolis, and there were just so many people. They were punching with both hands, and what they're doing is they're suing. Get this: they're suing the United States, and they're suing. Actually, they're suing DHS, and they want ICE removed immediately from Minnesota. So interesting. And they claim to love law enforcement, but they've called ICE agents Gestapo and Nazis. Happy Monday. Oh, well, thank you. Hello, Angela Ricca. Good to have you. And yeah, it is Monday, huh? I didn't even know what day it is. I'm actually, today I did some hedge trimming, which I wasn't planning to do, with our landscapers outside. So I actually had a really great day. I love doing that stuff. Hello, Kevin Young. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Karen. Thanks for coming by and thanks for contributing to the conversation. Aloha, Santillian. How you doing? Yeah, there seems to be a lot of corrupt states these days. Hello, OG Lucille. Good to have you. And our other OG, Debbie Lebedo. Good to have you. So, I don't know who saw the press conference, who didn't, but at one point, the mayor of what's the Twin Cities? Why can't I think of it? It's Minneapolis and whatever the other one is. She was talking about the fact that Minnesota has an enormous number of community activists, and they're all trained activists. They're very active, and they have a good organization ability. And interesting, a whole state of activists. Maybe that's why Renee Good and her wife moved there from wherever they were, Colorado. So they create the chaos. It gets really messy. Them hi-ho silver, they come in as heroes. Democrat left calling card. Absolutely. Gaslighting. Thank you, Angela. I love Angela. St. Paul. Thank you. I guess I couldn't remember because I can't believe that there would be a saint in front of any of those people's names. Honestly, it was appalling. That press conference was appalling. There was something that was said that was interesting. I'm going to play it for you. You are very few say my last name. Correct. Oh, well, I'm glad I got it right. I try my best because I have, it's not a difficult last name, but people are proud of their last name. And so, you do your best, you read it and you sound it out and think about it. So I am glad I got that correct. So anyway, all right. So here's what I want to show you. Let's see. Okay. Um, so after they called ICE agents Nazis and brown shirts and Trump's Gestapo and untrained, and I mean the horrible way that they described these ICE agents was amazing. And now remember, these are ICE agents who are working against the protests. You saw that they've been doxxed, where they're staying in hotels have been given out, and by hotel employees. And so people go there and try and stop them from getting any sleep. Some hotels are not letting them rent rooms, right? So they're stressed. They're just trying to do the job that we all hired them to do, right? They were hired, of course, by others, but we hired Trump. We wanted this agenda, the people of America, and they're trying to do that job, and they're doing it with zero support from the police on the ground. They're doing it zero support with the elected officials there. As a matter of fact, it's opposite, right? They're doing it with people interfering. So look at what Jacob Fry had to say about his 600 member Minneapolis Police Department. And I have to say, this is not disparaging to the Minneapolis Police Department, and I'm glad that Fry is protecting them and lauding them. But listen to what he has to say. And this is not video, it's only audio, so I put the picture up so his lips won't be moving. But he was stating that because there are so many protests because of ICE, that the police department is stretched thin. So that's the precursor to this clip. Watch.
Our police officers are doing the work to keep the peace and to keep people safe. With 600 officers, we can't do all of those things all of the time. Not to mention, our officers are human beings, and therefore there is a point where they get tired. And when we've canceled all days off, when our chief is working tirelessly, and he deserves a ton of credit here too, where we've got officers that are working incredibly long hours and long shifts. The truth is that when you get to a certain point, you start making mistakes. Not because you're a bad cop, but because you're a human being.
Okay. You get to a certain point where you're exhausted and you start to make mistakes. Not because you're a bad cop, but because you're a human being. So we agree. Police officers are human beings, Jacob Fry, and so are ICE officers and FBI agents and CIA agents and Homeland Security and Border Patrol. They're all human beings. Yet you and your cohorts don't seem to see it that way. You want to pick and choose which law enforcement you believe and follow. Really, really not good. There is a movement that these people track, and those two came there for the fight. Yes, they were paid. They were paid protesters. And I think I said it early on when she first got shot, that when we dig deep, we're going to find that she was a paid protester. And I know that I had some arguments on X about it from patriots who said, well, nobody knows that yet. I said I could just tell, I could smell it. And if any of you head over to my YouTube page and watch the short I put up last night, I went through this whole awful thing, this American white female liberal thing, and the fact that they're losing their fucking mind. And I think it might be birth control or hormones or something that they're taking that is making them crazy, because this is insane. They're doing double duty, police work in their job. Yeah, it's crazy. Didn't he tell his police not to cooperate? He 100% told his police not to cooperate. So that's the problem, right? So he's standing there. Hey, Kevin from Australia. So he's standing there protecting his 600, but anybody who's a federal officer under Trump's rule somehow is inhuman. Right? Somehow. I don't know why, but I'm getting 2 of everything by you in thumbnails and future posts. I might have to unsubscribe and wait a bit to resubscribe. It's, click on only one, Kevin. You know what happened is that it's showing it in both formats, in the long format and the lengthy format. So I have to look into that and see why that's happening. But son of a gun. So you're saying right now you see two of me? Let me know about that, because that'd be interesting, because YouTube just did this whole thing where, you do two formats, but I'll see. And I'm noticing too that our viewership is going down. It pops up and then it goes down. The same here in Honolulu Police Department. They keep defending 460 officers short today, starting 2026. Defunded. Okay. Defunded. It's crazy. Okay, so you are seeing two of me right now. That's no good. I will correct that in future broadcasts. Don't unsubscribe. I'll fix it, okay? I think we'll figure it out. Okay, got it. So thanks for alerting me, Kevin. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry if it's confusing. We'll fix that in the future. Okay, so today's program is called RINOs, Traitors, and Fools, because I wanted to talk a little bit, not just about the Democrats and their asinine bullshit, but also the Republicans that are the ones that are really undermining Trump. Let me see. Any comments are not, and my comments are not appearing. You don't see them, but I do. All right, we're going to get to the bottom of it, but thank you for telling me. Hey, it's the professor. How are you, Professor? Good to have you. So the problems that we're having are with people like Rand Paul, Tom Massey, Thom Tillis of North Carolina, which is insane to me, and of course Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't know if you all saw, but the DOJ has opened an investigation against Jerome Powell for testimony he gave about that, I don't know how many $billion office that was being built. And Trump was not happy with the cost of that office. It was going on as long as the highway in the Brooklyn Highway that was going on, that's been being built for the last 50 years. But apparently he gave some testimony to Congress, and it might not have been right. Hello, Sal and Grace Montforti. Thanks for joining us. Friend of Debbie Lebedo's. Good to have you on. Thom Tillis is pissed about that investigation with the Fed. Yes, he is. So he's saying now, get this. So he's saying that that he is not going to vote for any appointment that Donald Trump puts forward if he tries to fire the Fed chairman. And he's saying this because he says that he wants to keep power separate from the president and the Fed. And he's the head of the banking committee, I think it is. So this is pretty bad what he's done. But this isn't the first time that Tillis has said this. And by the way, he's only doing that because, of the investigation, which, by the way, Trump says that he did not order. That investigation is going on because that amount of money was extraordinary. And with all the fraud that's going on, I mean, the people of America want to know where their money is going. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of tidbits about Tillis. Well, anytime you arrive is a good time for us, Francine. Thanks for joining. Tillis is in someone's pocket. Bingo. So he's worth as of 2018, he was worth $17 million. He has conversations back and forth with Jerome Powell on a regular. And he said that under oath, during hearings. And he's thanked Jerome for cooperating with his office to give him information. So don't tell me that the government and the Fed should not be in communications, because that's bullshit. And, you know, I have a little suspicion of anyone that is in regular communication with the head of the Fed. I just do. I just do, especially when they're worth millions of dollars. I'm sure that number is much greater now, because 2018, you know, that was before COVID and inflation and everything else. So really interesting. But I'm going to show you this. Let's see. Here we go.
On Friday, the Department of Justice served the Federal Reserve with grand jury subpoenas.
Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell confirming Sunday that he is the subject of a Department of Justice investigation that Powell claims is looking into congressional testimony from him from last summer involving the renovations of the Federal Reserve's headquarters in Washington, D.C. In a video statement Sunday, Powell hinted there may be another reason that he's being investigated.
The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president.
Even though President Trump nominated Powell to the Federal Reserve, the two have had a public battle over interest rates throughout Trump's second term. Trump routinely has bashed Powell over not lowering interest rates more aggressively, arguing that lower interest rates would help Americans afford homes and pay their bills. News of the Department of Justice investigation has been met with bipartisan concern on Capitol Hill. Republican Senator Thom Tillis of North Carolina accused the White House of actively pushing to end the independence of the Federal Reserve and said that he would not support any new nominees to the Fed. As a result, Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren called the president a, quote, wannabe dictator following the news of the investigation. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell's tenure as the chairman of the Federal Reserve is set to expire later this year. President Trump, in an interview Sunday night, said that he knew nothing of this.
So Trump said he knows nothing about this. I don't know how true that is, but here's my question. The investigation centers on that building that they built and the fact that they needed so much money for it. I mean, I can't remember. Maybe somebody could Google it for me, how much it was. I think it was like $3 billion for an office building. Yeah, crazy freaking amount of money. But here's the thing. Just because you're being investigated doesn't mean that charges are going to be brought, that you're indicted. You know, why is Tillis getting his panties in a knot over an investigation over a building that is ridiculously over budget, and over in time too? I mean, it's as bad as the California Railroad. So once the politicians became millionaires, they go after billionaires because public officials don't make that offices unless they have special interest people as friends. Right? I mean, what is it? $200,000 we pay our congressperson, $400 for president. I can't remember. But how did they all become millionaires? How did AOC go from working in a bar to being a millionaire? I just want to know. It's just crazy. Well, it should be put under investigation. Well, he is. You know, that's the whole thing. They're investigating him now, Kev. The thing is, we don't know what we're going to find. The focus of the investigation is the ridiculously over budget building that he oversaw the building of. And in that clip, you saw him and Trump with the hard hats. Trump wanted to go tour that building to see if the steps were made out of gold. I mean, that might be where the golden Fort Knox actually went. All the bullshit happening by the left RINOs is like taking a drink from your beer with a fly in it, spit it out and toss it. Yeah, I agree with that comment. Tillis. Yeah, yes. Oh, Tillis. Sorry. Good. Well, we should find out about that. Business as usual. Yeah, you're right. But isn't it why we hired Trump? We don't want business as usual. So Don hates Trumpo. Okay, Don. So Trumpo is a lying piece of shit. Okay. Give us some examples of the lies that Trump has told. I'm very interested in what lies specifically you are referring to, because he seems to have been right about the laptop. He was right about the votes in Georgia. He was right about Ukraine. He was right about January 6th. He was right about everything. So tell me, and by the way, I'm going to say it again. If you want to know about January 6th from a law enforcement officer who was in charge of the Capitol Police, read this book. I don't know if it made the bestseller list yet, but it should. It's a very interesting book. Very, very interesting book. Courage Under Fire by Sund. He told that lady in Minnesota was a terrorist. No, he did not say that. He said that they were acting as domestic terrorists because they were interfering with ICE. That was a fact. And as a matter of fact, even Jacob Fry in Minnesota stated that she was trained to interfere with ICE. So that is not a lie. That is a truth. Go ahead. Give me something else, because you're wrong on that one. Gold from Fort Knox is being transported from Iran to Russia and China. Yeah, that's a good point. I saw the videos myself. Sweetheart, we've played the videos here. She tried to run him over. She was blocking the road. She was part of a blockade. The Minnesota, the elected officials in Minnesota have acknowledged that. So, what other videos? But tell me what video you saw, and I'll show you that she tried to run him over. Prove that about Trump. Yeah, well, we're waiting. Trump don't do political correctness. No, he doesn't. That's why we hired him. Not a lie, sweetheart. Not a lie. The domestic terrorists are those people interfering with executing a federal exercise. Well, put it this way. Do you think the J6ers were insurrectionists because they were interfering with a federal exercise? If you do, then you have to think that she was too. They were interfering 100%. Wall wasn't bullshit. What? How about that wall? What about the wall? The wall was being built. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer wouldn't give him the money. There was a whole video about that. There was a press conference where they refused to give him $5 billion for a wall. Okay, so you're wrong. I'm right. Did who go to the hospital? Trump or the officer? Yes, the officer went to the hospital. He was hit by the car, dear. Trump's a liar and always been a liar. Trump's been blowing money extravagantly. Really? New Treasury building, remodeling the White House, gold everywhere. No, Treasury building was not Trump. Treasury building was Jerome Powell. As far as the White House ballroom and the Rose Garden, all of that needed to be redone. And that is part of what the president gets to do to the White House, whether you like it or not. Did the officer? Yes, the officer went to the hospital. Here's the thing. Car stopped. I said, get out of car. Officer stood in front of stopped car. She accelerated, period. Yeah. And it was shown. No, wrong. Wall was built. Biden stopped the rest of the construction. Okay. Well, sweetheart, you're in a cult. You're in a cult. You're a useful idiot. You have to understand you are a useful idiot. And all of you who believe that what you're being fed, you're being fed that so that you can lose your rights. And you have to understand, look up what a useful idiot is, and then you'll get to know it. Why did he shoot? The danger was gone. No. And when a car is coming after you, after somebody is told to stop and get out of the car, you are allowed to use deadly force, period. There's the rules are there. Go read them. Okay. So just like our garbage is too dirty and our homes put out too much carbon, so taxes are the answer, 100%. So January 6th was a picnic. No, I was there. January 6th was tough. It was a protest that turned into a riot. That's what it did. And that's I'll say it to you again. Read this book. Read this book. If you think that all the Capitol Hill police officers were 100% correct, read it. Read it. It's written by the chief of the Capitol Hill Police. J6s were definitely insurrectionists. No ICE agent did not go to the hospital. He was shown walking away. Oh, no, sweetheart. They did go to the hospital, but that's okay. That's okay. Continue to be a useful idiot. It's fine. We need them. We need them so that the rest of us who think and verify can see what your leaders are doing to you. Because it really truly is crazy what is happening, especially to American white female liberals. Amazing. Okay, Strumbo spelt his main wrong. I'm not quite sure. Oh, I see. Okay. No, not a lie. Not a lie. No, and that's fine. You can call me all the names that you want to call me. At the end of the day, I will be right because I have been right. Trump is right. Trump has been right. The only people that are being duped are you. People died on January 6th. No, one person died. Her name was Ashley Babbitt. Nobody else died on January 6th. Nobody. The protesters were probably told to give up their lives if necessary, and they get paid. At least her wife would get the money. They were told that in their training. They were told to get in front of them and stop them. Here's the thing. What's so pathetic is that they are putting their life on the line to protect illegal criminal migrants who have killed and maimed American citizens, thousands of them. And they did it. And that's unfortunate. It's really, really unfortunate. At least on January 6th, people were there to try to speak in front of Congress, to ask Congress not to certify an election. That got out of hand very quickly. And I've said it from January 6th on. That was started by some bad apples. Those Capitol Hill police let those people into the building. And you can see it on the video. They escorted them all through. Nobody was armed on January 6th. Nobody. Nobody was armed, even though they had noticed that people might be armed in November at the Million MAGA March. Nobody was armed. There was nobody killed or maimed or harmed. Afterwards, there were some altercations. I think it was with Proud Boys. But nobody was harmed in November. Nobody was harmed in December. The only one who was killed on January 6th was Ashley Babbitt. So what does that mean? He drove away. Have you ever suffered in a car accident or something, and later on gone to the hospital? You stayed conscious. Your leg didn't fall off. You were able to walk. I mean, what are you trying to prove? Not for anything. If you got a 2.5-ton truck coming straight at you, if you're law enforcement and you're telling people to comply, and I've said this on the show before, Ashley Babbitt should not have been in the Capitol. Nobody should have been in the Capitol, even though the police invited them in. Nobody should have been in the Capitol, because if you go in the Capitol, it was a setup. And if the officer told her to stop and she didn't stop, then she got shot. So if you're going to protest, you better be prepared, because bad things can happen during a protest. I was prepared. No, sweetie. Well, Don, your name says it all. You're a useful idiot, and you're in a cult, and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Like I said, we need useful idiots, out there too, so we know when we're doing something right. China is pissed that Trump took away 70% of their oil from South Africa. Oh yes, they definitely are. Okay, well, I mean, Don is trying to take over the comment section, which is fine. But we have some things else to talk about. Split second decision, life or death. Acceleration means a rapid change of speed. So in other words, danger. Absolutely, Peter. Democrats, they're all you hear from their field, our country, and they don't like Trump taking over. Absolutely. Absolutely. She's becoming another George Floyd. Yeah, they're martyring her. These people don't realize they are virtue signaling for these lefties to do their dirty work. They do not care about anyone. No, and they don't even care about Renee Good. They just care that she's now the flag that they can wave. What's so pathetic is, oh, yeah, how do you know what I'm lying about? Were you at J6? I was. Ask me anything. I'll tell you the truth. No problem. I'm no longer listening to Trump, nor you or anyone else for Trump, Vance, and their administration. Okay, that's fine. Go away. Go. Why don't you go live in a nice communist country? Right? If you're unhappy here, visas work both ways. Go. You should not want to change America. America is a constitutional republic. That's what we are. That's what we were founded as, and we should not turn into a socialist nation. The woke left are acting as useful idiots to the CCP and to others who want to put us down, who want America to be brought to its knees so they can take power and become the superpower. If you don't know that, and if you don't realize that, then I can't help you. And you shouldn't have children because you probably couldn't raise them well. When did you learn that elections were certified on January 6th? Excuse me, the elections are certified by Congress. The Electoral College votes on January 6th every year. That's how it works. And on January 20th, the president is sworn in. And that becomes the peaceful exchange of power. And that's why the people, oh, you want to know when in my life? Oh, honey, I'm very political. I knew that when I was 11. Okay, let's see. With the help of Pelosi. Rest in peace, Ashley Babbitt. Absolutely. Babbitt was killed because she's, oh, well, that, look at how wonderful you are. So once again, right, the left is happy to see the right killed, and you're showing that, but you're going to hold up this woman good. Just for the record, Ashley Babbitt fought to give you the right to say that about her. You piece of shit yourself. Piece of shit yourself. These blue state officials are using American citizens to fulfill their agenda. They will use anything or anyone to get what they want, power. Yeah. We're not going to talk with Don H. Trumpo anymore because that is a piece of shit, useless piece of life. That they would say that about anybody. Nobody should have died. Now, nobody should ever have to die, but they should all be prepared to die. It is terrible that Renee Good died. It is terrible that Ashley Babbitt died. But you know who? They knew what they were getting into. You know who didn't know what they were getting into? The young woman, Jocelyn. All these young women that were raped and killed by illegal migrants. They didn't deserve to die. They are the ones that we need to be protecting. Is that viewer a medical pro, or do they just play on Facebook and YouTube? That is a useless waste of life, unfortunately. Yeah, goodbye to that dude. Yeah, well, that's what you get. A great deal of the Western world respects Mr. Trump and the Iranians. Yeah, they do. She was killed because she was brainwashed by the Democratic Party. That's true, Sal Grace. Insurrection is happening in every blue state. And that's the truth, isn't it? All right, so we're over, but I have a couple of things I wanted to show you. I want you to see Rand Paul.
Let's turn to Venezuela. The Senate narrowly advanced the war powers legislation that you co-sponsored, requiring President Trump to seek congressional approval if he goes back and bombs in Venezuela or elsewhere. Even if it passes, it seems very unlikely that Trump would sign it. Is there anything else that you would like to see Congress do?
This is a big debate, probably one of the most important debates we have in Congress. This isn't new, and I've told the president, frankly, it isn't about President Trump per se or solely. It's about really a struggle between the legislature and the president and who has the power. Our founding fathers were unanimous, from Hamilton to Jefferson, that they placed that power to initiate or declare war in Congress because they wanted less war. They were tired of the perpetual wars of Europe between the royal families. They were tired of having too much power concentrated in the monarch. So they divided that power up. And that's what the founding fathers wanted. And then some people say, well, Congress is so feckless. They would never know how to get us started in war. But when we were attacked at Pearl Harbor, and when we were attacked at 9/11, the vote by Congress was nearly unanimous. It's been when the dictate towards war or the reasons for war were less clear.
So, Rand Paul voted with the Democrats to not support Trump if he wanted to take further action in Venezuela. And I think that sends a bad message because Trump is trying to do something that Biden couldn't do, that Obama couldn't do, that frankly Bush couldn't do. He's trying to bring these dictators to trial and get rid of them because people are dying in these countries. These beautiful countries like Venezuela, that was a wonderful, fruitful country, was taken over because of what's happening actually in America right now, right? The disparagement of the financial situation, where the rich and the poor are like, that's what we got. The middle class is evaporating quickly, and when that happens, the majority of people without the money vote for things where they think they're going to get them for free. We saw that in New York City. And that's what happened in Venezuela. It's what happened in Cuba. So these beautiful countries, were desperate because they weren't, it was such a difference between the top of the financial echelon and the bottom that they thought they would get something for free. And what they wound up getting was everybody was equal. They were equally poor, except for the head of the socialist or communist, or it always starts the same, and then it winds up becoming a dictatorship. So Trump had the balls to get rid of the dictator and bring him to justice. Doesn't that guy Don realize Democrats are losing? I don't think that he's even a real person. I think that what he is, like I said, he's a useful idiot. What are you going to do? And I'll talk with anybody, but when you say that somebody deserves to die, especially a veteran, no, I don't do that. Thank you, Angela. Lake and Riley, that's true. Christian and Muslim are on the same side of the coin. A lot of things in common, right? A lot of the Christians, the Muslims, the Jews, they have a lot of things in common. And so many wars have been, I think only the Buddhists are really like far away from in the religious kind of thing. But, they all have a lot of things in common. And that's why I have a problem with fundamentalists of any religion. I am spiritual, but I won't join a religion because basically I think that they are all a political vehicle. They fear him. They don't respect him. Trump, you know what? Sometimes strength through fear is okay too. I used to be scared shit of my parents. It keeps you on the straight and narrow. But I don't know whether or not, I wouldn't say they don't respect Trump. I know they didn't respect Biden because they ran roughshod over him. They don't know what Trump is capable of. So that keeps them off kilter. And frankly, I think that it's better for us that way because we have been apologizing for the last 30 years and we need to stop. No one in the world respects Trump except the axis of evil. Scary liberal, you are a scary liberal. That's not true. If that was true, why are so many people coming hat in hand to work with Trump? Okay, So, see, now this is when I have to say goodbye. I mean, why are you here? You know, Republicans have every right to speak, just like you. The world laughs at Trump. No, the world doesn't laugh at Trump. The world is at his door, and they're trying to make deals with him because America has a lot of money. And without America, all of them go under. And the UK, which used to be the big daddy, is now a pussy. And it's because of people, like you, none your business, and the other asshole. So I don't know. See you next week, sis. Be safe and aloha from Hawaii. Okay, Santillian. See you later. Let's see. Rand Paul is God. Oh, interesting. Well, I think that Rand Paul is probably undermining the United States a little bit. But that's just me. ABC George Stephanopoulos asked Martha if she was scared on January 6th. Yeah, what was the answer, Professor? Let's see. Oh, you think so? Well, I think you're a useful idiot. So there we go. We each agree, right? You're a useful idiot. I'd rather be a fucking idiot than a useful idiot. Trump cannot trust the left socialist communists who are after him. Is he kidding? Yeah. Well, you can't pay attention because they're a little cult. See how they follow over here, and they're trying to get their message in. I mean, how many of you go following liberal media and to go say stupid shit like they are? They're just showing themselves as idiots. Rand is something in his mouth when he speaks. Yeah, probably probably a breath mint. If there really was insurrection, Martha would be scared. Agreed. There was none. Listen, I wasn't inside, but I was outside. I was on the west side, where the scaffolding was, and it was like a kumbaya situation over there. Declare war, Congress will let the enemy know ahead of time and jeopardize the mission. That's true. I mean, the problem is that there was once upon a time, everybody who raised their hand and placed it on the Bible and took the oath really wanted America to succeed. Now we have members of Congress who want to bring America to its knees, or to actually take American money and bring it over to their country. Ilhan Omar is one of them. And if you saw her speak in front of the exiled president of Somalia, you would know that is true. So that's just a fact. Congress is a joke, and so is the Senate. They are anti-Trump. The president of the USA. Yeah, well, it's not all, but the entrenched ones. Martha said on record, no, she wasn't scared. Yeah, the people that were afraid were the people that didn't know what was going on. Thank you, ICE. Thank you, President Trump. Thank you, ICE. Thank you. Excellent, Johnny. Yes, I agree. Thank you. They are all good people. Okay, don't know what that means. All right, so I have a couple more here, and I'm glad that everybody's in the comment. And I'm, other than Danbo, whatever his name was, I'm happy to have you in the comments, whether you agree or not. But I'm not going to have a situation where you wish people death. Not on this program. Okay, let's hear Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Obviously, she was one of President Trump's biggest supporters, but she fell out with him over the Epstein files, and the president eventually called her Marjorie Taylor Greene. She spoke about that riff with Leslie Stahl on 60 Minutes.
The Epstein files, and he was extremely angry at me that I had signed the discharge petition to release the files. I fully believe that those women deserve everything they're asking. They're asking for all of it to come out. They deserve it. And he was furious with me.
What did he say?
He said that it was going to hurt people.
Well, Greene also said that she blames the president for violent threats against her family and that he has abandoned promises he made to focus on domestic issues over foreign policy.
Okay, so Marjorie Taylor Greene decided to die on the mountain of the Epstein files. And I find it interesting because, right, the Democrats stayed together no matter what. And we're seeing this, right, except for Fetterman. We're seeing that they come together as a group because for them, power is the most important thing. For Republicans, it's not. And I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad about that. I am mad, however, that, she used to text with Donald Trump constantly. He'd take her call. And I know from my friends in Congress who are good patriots, that the president returns their call within a couple of hours, most times. So she could have talked to him. She didn't have to do what she did. That's kind of like, it's like what military tactics do, right? You have to stick together. You have to support each other till the mission is accomplished. You may not know all the steps of the mission, and there's a good reason for it, because leaking, especially in today's day and age, is very, very easy. But at any rate, okay, I had some more, but I think I made my case. And, the problem that we have right now is that Republicans have no balls. And that's been historic. The pussification of America was almost complete. Trump came in and stopped it. It's not going to happen where the leadership suddenly grows a pair overnight. You have to have real conviction, and you have to see, what's going on. But more importantly, you have to love your country. You have to love your country and what the founding fathers did to create this country. Recognize that it is a superior country. Recognize that forever, almost since its inception, America, when America was started, France and England, they were Britain. They were the big dogs, right? And we were the little dog. But because of our constitutional republic, because we have, I'm not going to say always been, because when the founding fathers, when we were founded, only men who owned land could actually vote. But we evolved, and the Constitution that they wrote was such a masterful document that it was able to change over time and to accept people from everywhere in this country and to make them a unified group. And that's what we were. We aren't African American, Jamaican Americans, Iranian Americans, Italian Americans. We are American first. And we have a culture. And somewhere about, and I think Scott Lebedo said it best, about 40 years ago, somewhere in the 1980s, right after Reagan, we started losing that, and we started hyphenating ourselves. And as soon as you start hyphenating yourself, then you become weak. So, and that's what happened in America. Up until that point, my grandfather, who came here from Italy, refused to allow us to speak Italian. He said, we're American and we need to speak English, and we have to adopt the culture of America. And my father felt the same way. But somewhere along the line, we've lost that. And so we have a whole bunch of people who want America to be a socialist nation. And for some reason, they have this idea that this time they can get it right. And Bexy says, I wonder if she can define socialism or communism. Yes, I can. It always turns into authoritarianism. Always. You have to show me one socialist nation that actually works. And don't tell me Denmark or any of those, because they all have royalty. Okay. The UK, look at the UK. I mean, no, it doesn't work. Socialism doesn't work. And if you want socialism, go there and have it. That's the beauty. You're an American. So why would you change a country that has been successful for 250 years rather than pick up and go to the country that has the government that you say you want? Doesn't make any sense. And we're not going to let it happen. None belongs in a dunny with, okay. Okay. The rest is just the bots. The GOP protects pedophiles. Really? I don't think so. Because it was Trump that had Epstein arrested, and it's Trump who's letting out the files. And oh, by the way, it was Trump who saved, so many children from sex trafficking. Why don't you know that? Why don't you know that, Biden lost 300,000 children in that open border, and they were being sex trafficked. Why don't you know that Palestine, women in Palestine cannot vote? They can't work. They can't go to school. Why don't you know that? Why don't you know that women in Palestine, their husbands could kill them if they want with no problem? Why don't you know that daughters in Palestine could be killed by their fathers, brothers, uncles, cousins if they perceive them as becoming too westernized? Why don't you know that? You should know that. You should know that women in America have been killed now, several hundred of them, by illegal criminal aliens that were led into this country by Biden. So, don't try and pretend that you somehow have the upper hand, because you don't. You're a bunch of hypocrites. You can't stand on anything but name calling, and you don't see facts. You don't see things equally. On this show, we see things equally. When the left is wrong, we call it out. When the right is wrong, we call it out. That's how it is. Hello, Ramon. Oh, good to have you tonight. Okay, well, we're really over time. And so I will see you all tomorrow. And thanks for all of you crazy lunatics, leftists, useful idiots in my comment. It's really good for the algorithm. All right, everybody. And Kevin, I will try and fix that YouTube thing, because it's a glitch on their end. All right, bye, everybody. See you tomorrow.